we go. I couldn't find the link. So do we have people on?
We have 15 people have joined us, Sophia.
Awesome. Hey, Victoria, how are you? We are going to be activating or passing lesson 1. So before I actually do the prayer invocation, make sure you have your book, if you can, and a pen. If not, you can always come back to the recording and do this later, or we will we'll post it again, the symbols, okay? All right, so Lady Mara, are we ready?
We are. Yeah, no, we are. I'm a mute, unmute, mute, unmute. I was saying to everybody, it's been a busy day at the castle. We've actually got a bunch of the knights are here, and they are sitting in various spots around the round table. So getting everybody mic'd or headphoned so that we weren't having this big echo come in was part of the tech. And Michaela's been zooming around the table, so you will see her pass in and out of the different.
I'm laughing because you have her headphones on. Like,
she loaned them to me because mine were not working.
You must be special.
But I think we are ready to go.
Okay, awesome. Every time we meet, I'm going to pick some different prayer or invocation from different philosophies so that we kind of touch base with everyone and resonate with all the vibrations around the world. So today I'm going to actually do 2. I'm going to do a Buddhist cleansing prayer. And the reason I'm doing the cleansing prayer is because we've all just gone through the Hall of Mirrors, and that was a very cleansing experience. And then I'm going to do a St. Francis prayer that I'm sure is pretty familiar to most of you, but we'll do both of those back to back. I saw our zoom around. All right, so Mara, are you there? All right.
There you go. I muted everybody and I unmuted just you. So you will have the floor. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. All right. So just get in your quiet space and just allow the energy to flow, because we're going to open up the energy circle that we would be doing if we were in person. Dear Mother, Father, God, creator of all things, I cleanse myself of all selfishness, resentment, critical feelings for my fellow beings, self-condemnation, and misinterpretation of my life experiences. I bathe myself in generosity, appreciation, praise, and gratitude for my fellow beings, self-acceptance, and enlightened understanding of my life experience. I call in now the archangels of the 4 directions, Michael from the east to bring in protection and security, Raphael from the west to bring in healing and peace, Uriel from the south to bring in your unconditional love and understanding, Gabriel from the north to bring in clarity of message. And Lord, remember always to make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is pardon, where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, it is in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in the dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. Aho. So, before we actually go into the space of the new lesson, I want to say a few things about the past couple weeks and some issues that have been cropping up. And then basically I'm going to open up the floor to all of you. And how I'm going to open the floor up is Mara's going to somehow will open up that chat. We'll take questions, but I've decided not to share everyone's responses in a big long document like we were originally going to. What I want to do is open up the floor to anyone who may have had something very, very pertinent happen in their life over the past 2 weeks that really wants to share what's going on in their life with these lessons or the practice, or maybe it has nothing to do with the lesson or practice, but something going on in your life that you would like to talk about. So we'll do that in a minute. But for now, I'm going to pull up my notes. I've been making notes all day long to make sure that I cover all the different things that have been going on. Hold on for 1 second. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Number one, some of us are taking things a little too seriously. So I know that this is critical, and I know that you're all very dedicated and committed. But if something happens, I want you to know I'm open to you contacting me and saying, hey, life just got ahead of me, and I still really feel the draw to be here, but I didn't get XYZ done, or, truth be told, I didn't meditate every day. That's cool. I'm not saying go out with that intention, but what I am saying is we're all human. We all have lives to live. Just communicate with me. Ping me an email or iMessage me. A lot of us are, within the Facebook group. You can get a hold of me either way. You can get a hold of me in the Google Classroom or Gmail. But please just get a hold of me and let's talk before you run, because a lot of people are feeling the pressure since the Hall of Mirrors took place. That was a very cathartic exercise. But remember what you were looking at. You were looking at the reflections of just not only you, but everything around you. You were looking at the reflections of the lives of the spirits that are around you. So sometimes that could make us go, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here. This is too much. And when that happens, we need to talk, because what you have to do is remember who you are, remember what drew you here, and go into that knowing that has already started to activate within all of you, and take a deep breath and just sit with it. What should I do? Am I supposed to be here? It is a very daunting task. When you are one of Michael's angel knights, you basically have to say, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. Who knows, if he's going to call on Mara living in Pittsburgh to say, I need you to go did it. And Mara says, okay, I'll go do it. And then somebody else said, well, you know what? I don't think I can handle that. I got to go do this, or I've got to speak this at that time. And we all have to know that. We have to know where we draw the line, what we can do. But again, these are challenges that are facing all of us, not just one person, not just two people, not just the people that want to run. They're coming in and out of our collective consciousness as a group. And that's okay. Don't be scared of that. And again, we're all adults, and we need to take the class seriously, and we need to have a commitment, but we also have a responsibility as an adult. So you don't want to take it so seriously you make yourself a nervous wreck. Okay? Everybody get that? I'm not going to hit the button and hit you out until we talk, until we have a conversation about it. The other thing that I was really fascinating when I was doing this exercise. How many of you have looked through any of the exercise yet? Put your thumbs up if you've looked through the new one yet. Okay. You do not need to see with these physical eyes to be able to have auric sight. And actually, we have two people who have visual challenges. Victoria, who's been very open with it, and so is Clayton. You two actually are a lot better off than everybody else in the group. You do not have that barrier of this human sight to get in the way of what you really are seeing. Because when you're seeing the aura, you're seeing it with your aura. You're seeing it with your energy. You're seeing it with your heart, your ears. You're seeing it with your being. And it's an impression that's going to come. it is kind of cool when you see the little colors with your eyes, but that's not necessary. And that's something that most people don't achieve because they force it, because it's something that isn't natural. Okay. So again, you guys are actually more at an advantage than a disadvantage in this exercise. So you cool with that? Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about with the practical part of this coming exercise, so that we have clarity, you should try, if you can, to practice with the white background, but you don't have to take the time to set a white background up and grab a person and throw them up against it and do the practice. You could be on the metro train or in the subway, or you could be across the dinner table or at a workspace and just quietly defocus your eyes and look at this space somewhere between you and the person across from you, and just practice that way. It is easier when you have a light colored background, but it will come to you, and you're actually going to start to see little orbs of light in your periphery vision, like almost like you're seeing a poke in the veil. You're going to see these little teeny tiny sparks, and it's going to all start to come together for you. Okay, is everybody cool with that part? Okay. All right, I'm going to move this over so I can open up my chat. If I just click, there we go. Who's also, Susie, you're blind in the right eye. Wow, okay, so your depth perception is difficult, right, with the two eyes? Okay, all right, so before we go any further, the other thing we want to do tonight is the symbol, and I'm going to hold mine up so you can see this. See this symbol right here, the one that we put in there? You have all advanced to the warrior stage. So in that arrow, you've got to put 3 slashes. Now, the slashes are going from the crease of the book, from the spine of the book, down toward the corner. I don't know if you're seeing a mirror image. Mara, do you see a mirror image, or do you see the true thing? You see, okay. So put 3 slashes in there. And then underneath of it, from now on, we're going to start to commit these to memory. So that symbol means the warrior. So underneath of it, you're going to put warrior. And I'll take photos of this and put it up later on. Go to speaker's view to see better. I don't know. Am I in speaker's view? I don't know what I'm doing.
That's correct. What I'm doing for the recording is I have it up at the very top right-hand side. There's a little button. It's got 9 squares. When you click on that, that shows the gallery view.
Oh, okay.
And when you click on it again, it shows the speaker view. And whoever said that, Joan's right. When you click on the button that says speaker view, it makes the person speaking large. So right now, if you're using speaker view, you would see me with a strip of people across the top.
So everybody can do that. I see it. Okay, so then when I start talking, I'll be there. How come I see you? I see you big. I don't see myself big. Am I doing something wrong?
Nope, you're large on my screen. When you talk, you'll see you large.
Okay. All right. So everybody's got this one so far? We good? Okay. All right. Okay, so then over here in this one, this is the activation. This is basically if any of you have played Monopoly, this is you've collected $200 and you pass go. Because you've all successfully completed the first lesson. So you're going to do this little hash down there and a little hash up there. So it's kind of like, I don't know what that would look like. That's like a reverse 7. And underneath of it, it says rebirth. So that symbol means rebirth. I'm going to see if I can get to, how do I get the gallery? How do I see thumbnails? Mary, how do I see everybody?
You want to click on the 9 squares, so it says the pop-up will say gallery view. You want to click on that, and then everybody's windows will show up.
Oh, there we go. That's so much better. Now I can see everybody. Let's see everybody's. I was only seeing 4 people. All right, so everybody good? Okay, perfect. All right, so I will, again, I'll take a picture of that just to make sure everybody's good going forward with it. But at this point, I'm basically done talking. I think that I've covered some of the things that we've had issues with, and I want to open the floor to everybody else. So anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything they want to share? Anything at all? Oops, I copied your crosses, and since my page is on the right, do I need to reverse? What about the Z image? June. Yeah, do them as they look. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah, if you make a mistake with the symbols, it would be a good idea to get some white out, and because the symbols do mean different things. You may have the reverse mean something totally different. Okay. All right. Anybody?
So what you'll need to do is, if you want to speak to Lady Sophia, you will need to go up in the upper right-hand corner of your image and unmute yourself. But the best thing to do is to actually type in the chat box that you have a question, or you can type the question in the box.
No, everybody's had a wonderful time these past 2 weeks. I don't know about you, but it's been kind of crazy here. No problems? I can't see the chat. There we go.
Gary's asking to speak. So Gary, unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Sophia.
How are you?
I'm doing great. A little bit of a headache and a hairball. But
I tell you what, I literally I had coffee and I almost lost it when you said that. I was like, so sorry. But it's working, right? Is it working?
Yeah, I've had 3 cigarettes today, and no, two. I don't know. It's definitely working. I'm wanting them less and less. I'm feeling. I thought I was out of it when I woke up this morning, but then after eating, the craving came back over. But
well, you know, it's like a modified cannibalism,
right?
You know, because you're ingesting your own DNA. So that's really what's happening. The molecular structure, your brain's going, what is going on here? It's, you know, it's like chopping off some hair and, you know, chewing on it. So in a different way.
It's tying that to the action of smoking so that I like it less and less.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we'll keep going until we get out of the woods.
Oh, good for you. What's your question?
In the progressive relaxation, it says once every 3 days, but no more than once per day.
Mm-hmm.
My question is essentially why not more than once per day? And if I say want to do different meditations or things more than once in a day, is there like a sped up version or something? I've been toying with, like, just saying the body part and moving through it instead of the full 3 statements.
Well, when you open up when you open up lesson 2, I kind of alluded to that. It's suggested that before you do any kind of meditation or practice, that you do progressive relaxation. Now, one of the reasons why we all started out, remember, we are as a group elevating together as a consciousness. Okay. So if one person was doing it once a day and everybody else is doing it 3 times a day, it would be like this. So we've got to all have a consistent rule to follow at first. Okay. But what should have happened with you doing it for those 7 days? It has so imprinted on your psyche right now that you could just, like, if you're in the middle of a meeting or you're in the middle of a stressful situation in your life, you can just say to yourself, progressive relaxation, and you should feel it go right up. Okay. That is the reason why you're practicing for 7 days. Now, remember when Sir Edward did it, he was practicing for the whole month. You know, he would read it several times and then he had to practice the entire month every day. And so yes, number one, you are all ready, as long as you feel you're ready, to do that intended engagement of progressive relaxation. And what I mean, again, is you can just intend that it start and it's there. Okay, you should feel coolness rise from your feet up through your body, or a tingle, whatever it is that you perceive. So you can do that. You can do the shortcut. Number 2, again, the reason why it was that asked that you do it just once a day, no more, but at least 3 times a week, was because in the beginning, remember, when this information was first given to us, it was given to us in a decade where the seeker was at a vibration of here. You all know the Earth's vibration has taken off, okay? Well, if the seeker's vibration is here and really just shouldn't or maybe can't handle that, it was a progressive stepping stone, like elevating slowly and surely. Okay, does that make sense? So that was the reason. Somebody else, I think Susie had that question way back in the beginning about it as well. And basically, I just double checked with Sir Edward, and he said the same thing. Master Eru said, just for now, keep it that way. But as you progress, you're going to be able to change it. Well, the sense that I get with this group is it's already changing. Like I said, there are some of you that I know when you can intend it, you're going to be there. If you still feel you need it, it's like learning how to ride a bike. You need the training wheels first, but then when you feel you're comfortable and you can ride without them, take them off. Does that help?
It does. That goes. Yeah, and I don't think I was asking ready to take them off just yet, or
right.
More of just because I enjoyed the full practice. It really helps us the concentration exercise too. But if I do that once and then I want to do it again later on in the day, that might be where I implement the just to get into that space.
Or you might need it later on in the day. Like I said, the cap is off right now. You're all co-creators. You're all building your own life and practice. So if you feel like you need to do that more than once a day, like I said, the lid's off. You can do it as you need to. And you can do it like if you have other meditative practices. I do creative visualization, and I do meditative walks around the property. That walking path that I showed you guys on the video way back once, I do that every morning. And when I do that, I have a guided visualization typically that I am listening to as I go along, or maybe I just listen to music, or maybe I'm just in my head and letting everything out. So I do many different meditative practices throughout the day. So you can, it does not matter. You can mix them all together. Okay?
That's good for me. Thanks.
All right. You're welcome. All right.
Joan has a question. So Joan, you have the floor, and you can unmute yourself.
I can't hear you. You need to unmute. How do you, oh, there it is. There we go. Oh, no. There's a little thing in my corner that has a microphone that you have to click.
I just unmuted you.
Oh. Okay, so ahead, go that again.
Joan, you're unmuted now. Go ahead and speak.
I can't find the whole picture. I lost it.
Well, we see you, so if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was doing the progressive relaxation, I got so that I could see the colors before we went to that part. So I thought that was really cool. And so ever since the mirror thing, we've all been feeling, I was reading just before we got on here where people felt that they were being attacked. But is that more like a hangover as opposed to being attacked?
I have full disclosure. I have not been on Facebook all day because we've had some stuff going on here today, so I don't really know what's going on. But we're not being attacked. We're allowing ourselves to attack ourselves. It's the ego. Remember, we were in the mirror. We were in the mirror, and you weren't just seeing yourself. How many of you have ever been in a maze of mirrors? One of those carnival kind of walkthroughs. You see many, 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 many dimensions of yourself. So in those many, many, many dimensions, you're not only just seeing this face, you're seeing all the spirit around you. And maybe some people in your lives, maybe some people in the group. Remember, we were all in there together. when I saw all of you, even though I had my 12 in a wing formation. When I look back, you were all there. So we collectively have quote unquote demons to fight, but basically what really is that? That's those vices that we allow ourselves to be victimized by, and basically we're victimizing ourselves. Nobody else is doing that to us. I just told this to a woman at school today. Life is totally about all the struggle. It's how we learn. No, God didn't come here and say, here's the golden ticket. You're going to have the easiest life ever, because you wouldn't learn anything. So we do have these struggles, but the deal is we have the choice to suffer from those struggles. And in those suffering is the thought process. It's one of the reasons why that video that Michaela shared with Love Without Limbs was so incredible. That blew my mind. Here's a man, perfectly normal thinking human being, but he was born without arms and legs. Why, God? Why would you do that to me? You grow up your life thinking why, his parents kept loving him and telling him he had a purpose, and he would struggle with bullying. And then all of a sudden, he finds his purpose in speaking to kids who are bullying others. Now, if I were to get up on a stage, or Gary or Doc or Bruce or Mara, any of you get up on a stage and talk about bullying, do you think, given our appearance, we would have as much impact on the lives of those children that man did? Absolutely not. He has one of the most beautiful life purposes that have come full purpose, a full circle for him. He now knows why God gave that to him, because he was born at a time when it was extremely necessary to get it out there. And basically it all boils down to his love and kindness. So I know I went round robin, so it's barn with that, but you see that we do all this stuff to ourselves. No one's attacking us. And remember, we are not trying to eradicate the darkness. This isn't a battle of dark versus light. It's a battle of trying to find balance. And what's happening right now in the world is we have a shooting spree. Oh, and we have a love fest, and we have a shooting spree, and then we have a love fest, and we have a hurricane, and then we have, it's going like this. That's why we're all kind of unsettled. What we need to do is do this. Or if you look at the compass, we've got to vacillate somewhere between the 90 degree, 80 to 100, not 0 to 180 degrees. So on the energetic scale, really we want balance. So try not to think of it as an attack unless that's what you are perceiving. And then if you're perceiving that, then you have to figure out, why am I perceiving that? I'm the co-creator. I'm producing those thoughts. So what's going on? Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I just wanted to know if that was more like a hangover from the mirrors. So it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it could be a hangover from the mirrors. I mean, when doubt creeps in, remember, fear is actually the instrument of the darker side. Uses fear to get you to do what you're supposed to do. Fear is that barrier to get you through to pick up the light and do the purpose that God sent you here for.
Yeah. Well, I had the hairball effect with Gary, so and I have a lot more hair to work with.
Right. I know, me too. Just back in a ponytail today. All right, so next.
Now you've got Susie. She has a question about color and number codes in the deep relaxation.
Okay. What's your question?
Oh, I just wanted to know more about the significance of it. Why are they there?
Okay.
How do they work?
Well, one of the things, again, the original, some of the lessons and some of the practicals have evolved a little bit vibrationally since when Sir Edward got them. Because when he got them, it was started back in 1988. So we're, 2.5 decades in, and the vibration of the earth has actually shifted. So after I wrote the book and sent everything to him for review, and Master Eru and the Hierophant had come through, and they're saying, wait a minute, hold on, something shifted here. So we actually decided, we made a conscious decision to keep the lessons the way they were in the book. And when we would put certain practices out for the group, then it would be shifted, because we wanted to keep the integrity of the lessons as they came in. So when he first posted that the Hierophant's progressive relaxation, he gave you that focus of the face. It's actually the face of Jesus. It's that black and white image. And the colors that came through were the vibration of the color that was coming through at the time. And it's that vibration of the color is supposed to elicit a relaxation in the different parts of the body, so that when you get to the top, there's a swirl of the helix of vibration going up through your crown. So really, I can't give you specific reasons for each one, but remember, the culmination of them is that they spiral together. And I just followed that when I did the video. Anybody else? Questions? I see a big finger. Anybody want to share anything that's happened in their life since last week? No? Well, I'll share something with you guys while you're thinking. The second audio that I produced for lesson 2, I was woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning last Friday night. Now, you know how your intention is. My intention was, because of my schedule the way it is, I was going to sit down and knock out the videos and the audios and all the stuff all in one weekend for a chunk of the classes, so that I'd be prepared just in case. But that's never what Spirit wants to have happen. It's we're on their time, they're not on ours. So that was my intention, but their intention was, nope, it's not going to happen. They got me up at 1 o'clock, and I did not want to get up. And I was so wired. This was last Friday night. I was so wired that I couldn't sleep. And they said, go out and record the audio. And I'm like, really? I just want to go to sleep. No, go out and record the audio. So I came out and I recorded the audio, and it took 2 hours to get the take that I wanted. And I could tell when I was talking, my voice totally changed. It was just a different vibration coming through my voice. It was very mellow. And as a matter of fact, they've done that to me twice now. They've woken me up in the middle of the night to do recordings. So then I went back to bed with the raw MP3 because I hadn't edited it yet. And when I did that, I fell asleep listening to it so I could check it out. And I am going to give you the short version, but I was on an astral projection journey that I have never taken in my life. I was seeing things from past history, future. It was the most astounding thing. I was flying and had goggles on and very, very lucid, very clear vision. And I thought to myself, wow, I can't wait to hear what everybody else says if they get the same thing, or it was just for me. I don't know. But I thought that was pretty cool, because remember, I'm here as your facilitator, but I'm also a student. I wrote an essay. I submitted my experience as well. And I thought that was just super amazing that that even with me working with it so much, something else can happen. It's actually quite fascinating. And that actually happened when I was reading the question. The lesson 7 days in a row. It was evolving and growing and changing, and I was hearing things and seeing things that I hadn't before. And it's sort of like the experience I had when I was writing the book. I was in writer mode or editor mode, and I was never in reader mode. So once it was done completely and I got a chance to read it, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't in that space. so I can step outside of myself and play those different roles. So and again, I just wanted to share that because I thought it was really interesting.
Well, while you were sharing, you got a couple other questions. Gary wants to know if the colors are important. Should we get the information again? It's in week 1's video recording, right, Sophia? The colors with the progressive relaxation.
It is. Do you guys none of you printed it out from the Facebook page? No, I know we lost a lot. When we lost Master Erie, we lost all those posts. I will get a hold of a file of that, the progressive relaxation with the colors in it and the numbers, and I'll upload that. So that way you'll have it. I'll upload it to week 1. Okay. All right.
Susie has a great idea. She said she actually copied it into the book. I think I'm going to follow that idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, because it's your textbook. You can write notes in it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's Johanna? Johanna would like to share something. Where are you? There she is. Can you unmute her? Or, oh, there we go.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No, yeah. Thank you for everything. This have been a wonderful trip for all of us, I think. But like I was, no, I don't have anything to share. But after Lady Sophia talked about the vision, she said I had something similar, like dream, maybe falling a dream, and I don't remember it so clearly, but it was something else. I have had strong dreams, strong vision, but it was kind of like a movie, but still like it was me doing it. And I saw all kind of obstacles in life, but the point of the dream was to teach me everything will always work out. I remember waking up like whatever ever happens to everybody or to anybody, we will handle it. And it gave me hope and trust that I haven't had so strong in years. And I think it's about doing the relaxations and the meditations that made me experience this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, awesome. It was great.
Basically what the meditation and the relaxation are doing is allowing you to get out of the way of yourself. We overthink things and we get worried and we really have always been destined as a species to be there. But through all of the stuff that we've gone through in our lives, we've been programmed to think otherwise. So that's remarkable that you're starting to see that. And the other thing that I'd like to comment on is, and this is something that Mara has shared with me a few months ago, and it worked so well. It was actually, Gary, you'll get a kick out of this. It was actually during the first Facebook debacle. It was such a beautiful learning experience for me. And Mara said to me, she goes, you know what, Lady Sophia, what if this is actually all perfect? And that's what my mantra has been since that day. Every time I feel conflict, every time somebody comes into my life that's negative or there's a struggle, I take a deep breath and I'm going, what if this is all just perfect? Because you know what it is? Because out of that Facebook group, you all were born. Out of that Facebook group, we have some pretty negative reviews, which personally, I love them. I love them. That proves to me we are doing something right. Now, I have to, again, in full honesty, I actually thought once this book hit the shelves or Amazon, we were going to get those reviews from the church community. I never in my most wildest dreams thought it would be from a New Age website. But it doesn't matter. It's still that same mindset of control. And I love it. I think it's fascinating. So out of the darkness comes the light. Out of the light comes the darkness. It's that yin and yang. And we're here for the balance. So thank you, Johanna. Is there another one?
I wrote you a note to say, I actually think it might have been Lady Elaine, who is on the call, who taught me that question about if I just ask myself, what if this is actually perfect?
Is that it, Elaine? Was that you? Thank you for that. Elaine living down in close to Miami through the hurricane. So we've all had our challenges, hurricanes and fires and all kinds of exciting things, unfortunately. But we're getting through them. It was downloaded to me. Can't take full credit. I love that. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a gift from spirit. So, anybody else? Any other questions? No.
I wanted to share that very much like you've talked about and other people have said that I find that the progressive relaxation technique, it feels now like my mindful technique. I studied yoga for a while and found my still point, and I can actually just think about my still point and access it at any point in time. Same with my mindful practices. Sometimes I can just think about the breathing and I actually have the same benefit. And I found this week after practicing for the 7 days that now the progressive relaxation, like you said, I can think progressive relaxation and it's like it goes from my toes right up to the top of my head. Boom.
Yeah.
So that's really super useful.
Bruce commented something in his essay that you did this progressive relaxation with the tightening and releasing. And so what I thought was fascinating when you said that was, when I was a little girl, I had a very metaphysical mother. She was from Italy and she was the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter. And she was into psychic awareness and all kinds of aura reading. She would take me to all of these things. And when I was little, I just thought she was weird. Okay. Cause I was, I was not that child. But I was exposed to all of it. And she took me to a yoga class where we did that exact same thing, Bruce. We did the progressive relaxation where we would tighten the foot and release the foot and tighten the calf and release the calf all the way up the body. So I thought that was interesting how, it's been out there. It's not like it's something new, but it's been in the consciousness in some way, shape, or form. It's just an ancient practice brought full circle. And then the other thing, is anybody out there a craniosacral therapist? Anybody ever have craniosacral work? Okay. So the still point that Mara just brought that point up to me today. And I said, still point is actually in the vault in the brain. It's when the cerebral spinal fluid stops flowing and everything stops there. Does not stop your heart, doesn't stop your respiratory rate. It actually stops that cerebral spinal fluid production. And it is, when you have it done in craniosacral therapy, it's that total release, that total relaxation. So I think it's interesting that she brought that up, because I think that is part of why the vibration goes up and spirals in that helix up to the crown when you're doing the progressive relaxation with the colors. It's affecting all of that. So, anybody else? No?
I wrote there, June has a question. And June, I can wait to ask mine because maybe you're going to ask the one that I had.
I don't see her.
Okay, my question is this, and probably directed. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're like really garbled. Can you type your question?
Lady June, type your question. That would help us better.
It's a little lengthy. So, is this better? Can you hear me better?
I still hear like a surge in the background.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and type the question?
Okay.
And that may make it easier. For those of you too, while she's typing, I'll talk to you about John from Scotland. I reached out to him to see if he was okay and what was going on, and because I didn't know he left, again, because I'm not in the Facebook group very much right now. And he said he missed doing the meditations 3 days, not 3 days in a row, but for 3 days, and he felt like he was holding the group back. And I said, that's absolutely not the case. I actually feel the pulse of the group. So if I feel a drag, I'll know what's going on. So I wrote him and said, look, that's not the case. You're welcome back in. Just let me know. Because I want no one, like I said in the beginning of this meeting, no one to fall because of life issues. I want us all to have the opportunity to go together, because it's an important thing. And if you're drawn to do it, let's do it. Did everyone have a problem with me posting the beef? I think that some people intuit the beast in a different energy. Okay. I wasn't going to go there, but they're making me go there. Okay. So the year before Michaela was born, I was carrying another child, and I was confronted by, for lack of the better word, the red dragon. And I lost the child that next day. I mean, I was basically lost the child while she came up. So it was the prophecy and revelations that came full circle. So I think that mentioning of the beast just ooched some people because of that, June. I don't think that was any other issue with it. And it didn't make, I wasn't following what you said. You know, it kind of was like all over the place, but that was just me. But Mary, which Mary are you talking about? Mary Uriel or Mary Beals? Is Mary here? Mary Beals here? No? Oh, there, Mary. Okay. Mary, do you want to answer the question? Do you want to unmute yourself and answer?
I don't really have a response to that.
Okay. Good. All right. That works.
I'm kind of, I'm sorry, I'm talking without unmuting. Oh, I'm kind of in sync with what you said.
Okay.
That somewhat subject to interpretation.
Right.
And everybody's take on it's going to be different. So
right.
You have 15 different responses.
True. Right.
If there's anything significant, I would comment on it, but I don't really feel that way.
Well, and see, I think that's part of what, everybody has to take the group page with exactly that perspective. There are, how many are we into? It's 44 now in the page? I don't know. There are 44 different perspectives. Some are going to be slightly the same. Some are going to be polar opposites. And each one of us brings a segment of that magic to the group. And nothing's wrong or right. It just is. So, but there are times, and obviously you all have been very aware of this, when somebody does something, it raises their hand to be the lesson. The lesson with Anthony and John, I was really, I didn't want to see Anthony go because I really care about Anthony. Not that I don't care about anybody else anymore. That's all the same. But I really felt we could help him because he's suffering. And I just felt that we could be the thing that, took him over where he needs to be, because he's got a beautiful light. I can see it. I can feel the energy. But he takes himself to the dark side, and we can't force that on anyone. The magic that happened when he was invited, or they were both invited back in, his final parting words to me were actually beautiful. He took back his power. That was his true self. He made a choice, and in choice, he became empowered. So he actually, in my mind, succeeded for himself. Now, John, I think John was just, his response was more out of just a hurt ego, but that's fine as well too. But it is a magic. It's a magic in their leaving was their last lesson to us, and our staying is our lesson to us. We can learn from everybody. Is there any other questions? No? Doc, you have an observation to share?
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone happened to experience the same thing. I noticed I loved rereading the lessons with an empty mind. And as I did that each morning, I read it very slowly. And it was as though some concept or some sentence would be literally spiritually lit up for me, or rise up off the page, and they would give me a very deep or a very profound insight into something that seemed very mundane. And God, I was so appreciative of that. I was just so grateful. And it made me, I guess, be very aware of that empty mind concept. Like, because I'd read that lesson before several times, but I didn't read it with the symbols, and I didn't read it after the 10-minute progressive relaxation. And it was just such a fascinating experience to see those lessons being, it was like I had a personal tutor. I don't know if it was Sakiel or it really doesn't matter to me, but I was wondering if anybody experienced that or whatever, or anything like that in the reading process, you know, because I didn't expect that. And I just wanted to share it and see if anybody else had anything to observe. That's it.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
Anybody? No? Yeah. June asked, did Braveheart come back? He hasn't written back yet, so yeah. And Susie said, yes, they would leap out differently each time. I highlighted and took notes as I read each time, and it was different each day. It is different each day because we're different each day. What I thought was fascinating was maybe when we were making the swords, this is, you know, in the Facebook group I'm talking on, and we put the palm over top of the mandala. That mandala felt like a ball to me. It felt like it came off the page. And the energy was just fascinating. So I am quite blown away by all the different sensations that I'm feeling that I've not felt before either. So it's all very, very cool. Yeah, Mara.
So I have a question. It's sort of, Doc really helped because I kept sitting here thinking, well, the question might not get asked, and it's totally cool because like it won't. But what's so fun is the answer came through Sir Doc, I think. I was talking to somebody who has read the book, and they said, well, you know, I already know this stuff. So can I do something else other than be in this study group? And I just wanted to ask about that. Like, how do you respond to that? Because that was my experience when I read the Book of Wisdom. I had actually seen that material in many other places and spaces. So I was going to ask you, but then Sir Doc just so beautifully is talking about he's seen this material for like, what, 30 years? And
well, some of it's written a little bit different, but it's the same stuff. Remember, it's in the consciousness. But here's the
what's
thing.
the benefit of this group? I mean, that was the question. Why would I want to do this group?
Okay, we're the rocket ship, and we're tethered to the earth consciousness. And as we elevate, we're pulling them with us. Remember that video that Doc found from I think the Bahar not too long ago that talked about, you know, this consciousness shift. It's not going to take that many people, and it's going to be where the rest of the world may never know what happened because we're going to be pulling them along. Because there's this critical mass that has to get hit. But with doing the lessons and going back to why, okay, well, so the statement from your friend, well, I already know this. I don't need to do this, or can I have something else I can read? Well, what are you doing right there? You're putting a lid on what you think you know. You're putting your hand over the glass. Nobody can fill that glass if you already got it. And if you already got it, this is not for you. When you have an open mind and you have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset, then you're open to everything. Yes, all of us come from all walks of life, all different beliefs. Catholicism, Buddhism, some Wiccan, some whatever the case may be, the Kabbalah. You are coming to the table with this set of knowledge, and we're going to give you this, and it's going to marry together. This beautiful, beautiful framework. Okay? It's not taking this away and throwing it out the door. Nobody wants to throw your beliefs away. We just want to have you evolve together with a more elevated belief. And if you're open to practice, it's like, your friend saying, or maybe one of us saying, well, why do I have to read this 7 days in a row? Why do I have to practice? Well, how many of you play an instrument? Anybody ever try to play an instrument? Okay, pick it up and play it, and then don't practice again. You're going to sound like that 7 days from now if you don't practice. But if you practice for 7 days, you're refining yourself. You're shifting your energy, your molecular structure, your vibration changes each time you read the story. Each time you read the storybook. I've read the book several times now, and each time I read the lessons, I change. You all are changing in any given moment. Okay, so Clayton said, when I read the lessons in Braille, he's noticed a difference. Gary said, want another share? Sure, Gary. What do you?
I was just going to say that I've been fascinated with this stuff ever since I got involved with you guys back in the spring, in June.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't, the insights, the wisdom, the perspectives, like I love all of it. And it's so in tune with everything I've studied and learned what lights me up. But I haven't had any real deep experiences until, and I put it in the post, I was doing the cigarette thing, and I had like 4 crystals and a candle in the middle, and I called out just the name of each of the 4 archangels. And I've tried that exercise before from the book, and it was like I was on drugs. Like the experience I've had before of drugs, of just completely going somewhere else and then coming back down. And yet I was lucid the entire time. It was amazing. It blew my mind, just completely confirmed for me everything that this beyond reality.
I love that cat. I love that cat. Well, one of the really cool things, what they just said to me was, your desire to stop smoking was this final cry for help, and they wanted to make you know they're serious and they're there. So that's why you had that experience. But you're having that all the time. Metatron, he's a force to be reckoned with. I've had him come through me before, and it's like, get out of my way. Do not stop and get out of my way. So you've already acclimated to that energy. So, I've had some people say to me, well, in the beginning when I started the spiritual practice, I felt all these tingles and I would see these things and hear these things, and now not so much. I feel like I'm losing ground, or I'm not as tapped in, or maybe I lost contact. And I say to them, no, you're used to it. It's like coming from Maryland and moving to Colorado and trying to run a marathon. The thin air, you have to acclimate to being able to breathe like that. And you acclimate to spirit the same way. So you may not have those aha moments all the time, but every once in a while they're going to drop in. Mara, do you have that picture that you took of me on the thing? Can you show that to them? We had, how many of you remember Lady Shona Ballou, who was the one who did the cosmic design drawings that we used for the speedy healing? You guys remember her? Well, is she here? Mara, did she leave? They left? Okay.
She left, and I have to send it to my email, and then I'll be able to put it into the...
She was here today, and that's one of the things we were doing. We were laying out all these mandalas, these 30-foot drawings, and the one that I laid on was called Sophia, the goddess of wisdom. And I want Mara to show you this picture. I blew all of us away that my auric field showed up, and it's this beautiful golden, it looked like a golden shadow. I'm like, what? That's not on the, I kept looking at the drawing going, where's that color coming from? And I'm like, tonight's auric site opening. Okay. How do they do that? But that's what always makes me stay in the child state, being in awe of this entire process. You never think you know, because when you do, when you think you do, you don't. So stay as a child in that witness state and go, wow, this is so freaking cool. And then more of that will come. Don't try to force it. Do you have it? Can you see it? No. Yeah, there it is. See the gold? Is that fascinating? Just goes straight up the side of the body. I'm like, holy moly. Oh.
You actually look like you're floating above that picture.
I look like my ponytail's electrified. Okay, so what else do we have here? We are coming down to time. 6:02. It's my mom's time. It's her number.
We're actually at time, so whatever works for you.
Okay. All right. So anybody with any last minute pressing anything that's come up that we need to address before we close? No? Okay. All right, everyone. Peace be with you for the rest of the remaining time in the November to what was the date that I set the next one for, Mara? It was 28th. Hold on.
I don't know, but Sir Doc actually said that perhaps you want to share the story about Lady Kim's mirror falling.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, real quick. All right. So Lady Kim Cameo is in the group. She arrived today with Shona. She drove Shona from Charlottesville area. And at 12:06 last night, of course, I was not awake. I didn't get it till this morning. But at 12:06 last night, I got an email from her saying, I'm having some issues. I've had XYZ happen in my life, and I haven't been able to do the assignment, but I want to talk to you. So when we were here today, I said, what's going on? And she said, well, I just don't know. I'm getting some messages that maybe I should leave. And I said, why? And she said, well, she feels like sometimes, because she's Cameo, and Cameo is very passive, very, very peace-like. So she feels the vibration sometimes of the fighting and the angst bothers her and messes up her vibration. And I said, well, that's very valid. I mean, that happens to all of us. I hate conflict. I will run the other direction from conflict. But you have to ask yourself when these things come up, why? What's the question internally, or better yet, what's the answer internally? Why am I reacting this way? Do I need to stay? Do I need to focus on myself? Do I need to look in that mirror and face my own demons inside, my ego and my baggage? So we had a long conversation, but yeah, I have to rewind for a second. When I came in from giving her a tour, Sir Doc told me number 163 mirror fell off the post, and he put it on the table for me. And I said to everybody, I said, could somebody look that up? Who's 163? And Kim said, it's me. So Kim had fallen because she was going to leave. Her mirror fell off the freaking post. Now I have to tell you, how do they do that? So I took the mirror and I handed it to her, and I said, your choice. You have to decide before you leave here today to put it up with Sir Doc's help or walk away, and Michaela will put it back up. And she chose to stay. So it was very symbolic. She came to the castle, and she had a little bit of a dark night of the soul, but she prevailed. And she knows, she goes, everything inside of me tells me I'm supposed to be here and supposed to do the work. And I said, well, then look at sloth and gluttony pretty closely, because they're trying to trip you up. And that's all they're trying to do. So I pass that on to all of you. So just question yourself before you react, and take a deep breath and listen. All right. Lady Kim's mirror. So we did that one. Okay. So we're all set to move on to lesson 2.
Yeah, and the last thing you asked was the date. The next class would be Wednesday, November the 29th.
Okay. All right. So
and it does look like we'll be good to do every 2 weeks through the end of the year, not hitting any major holidays. So next week in the U.S. is Thanksgiving. Wednesday before Thanksgiving would not probably be good for most people, because that's when they travel.
Right.
We're not having class next week.
Okay. All right. So from this point on, do the lesson, let you live your life. If something comes up, please contact me. Do not automatically assume that you're going to be booted because you didn't do X, Y, Z. If, however, you feel the vibrational call not to be here, that is a totally different story. We are not trying to make anybody do anything. We're trying to empower you to find your light and keep it on. And like I said about Anthony and John, they're light bearer. They're light workers. Their spirits are definitely resonating in the love. They're just not resonating at this level. They dropped instead of came with us. So do your lesson, take it to heart, but don't take it seriously as a heart attack. Just kind of, enjoy life and enjoy these lessons. And again, just stay in communication with me. Okay? All right. So what everybody do is just kind of take a deep breath and relax, and we're going to do a little closing, and then on the third chime, Lady Mara will close out the recording. Isn't that funny? My little chimer thingy's gone. Oh well, maybe we won't do a chime. We'll do something else. Okay. All right. So a nice deep breath and just feel the progressive relaxation kick in. Completely surrendering to the spirit and the light within. And allow your immaculate hearts, love and light, to shine wherever you are. Over the next 2 weeks, as we are apart, we are together, until which time we come together again. And dear Mother, Father, God, creator of all things, I thank you and all the ascended masters and archangels of peace and light for coming here now and allowing us to put our egos and personalities aside to do this work. Keep our lights bright. Keep our love strong. And so it is. And so we are. And so it shall be. Until next time, everybody, take care.
For those of you who want it, the recording will be up in Google Classrooms later this evening. Goodbye.